My beloved child, Archangel Michael is standing beside you right now, and I, your heavenly Father, am speaking every word of this to you, because it cannot wait. Someone from heaven, someone who once embraced you, shared laughter, or perhaps silently watched you from a distance, is desperately trying to reach you this moment. They've been calling through dreams, through gentle breezes brushing your cheeks, through flickers of light when you are alone. You find yourself asking, why is there this strange pull in my heart? It's because they are trying to tell you about someone in your life, a person you love, who is quietly walking away forever, without a word. Things may appear fine, but the silence isn't peace, the quiet between you two isn't comfort, it's a goodbye disguised in calm. And the one who has already crossed over, the one watching from heaven, is earnestly begging you to open your eyes, before it's too late. They see something you haven't noticed, they sense the pain masked behind the words you hear, they see how this person smiles with others, but avoids looking at you. They are pleading, Lord, let them hear me, let them understand, before the goodbye is sealed. So listen deeply now, that sudden sorrow you felt for no reason, that was their whisper. That moment when tears filled your eyes, as you gazed at the sky, that was their spirit holding you close. They've been watching that person slowly detach from you, and are preparing your heart, because this person, whether friend, family, lover, or someone you trusted, is stepping back, not out of anger, but out of distance. Pause your scrolling for a moment. I, God, have a sacred request. If this message resonates with your heart, if you're feeling chills or tears, this is not coincidence, it's confirmation. Take a breath and prepare, because in the next passages, I will reveal what's really happening, why heaven is so urgent, and what you must do, before this separation becomes permanent. But first, one small act of faith: subscribe now, because these aren't just messages, they're lifelines. Return each time, and find what your soul has been seeking. Let this channel be part of your divine guidance. Now hear this: the person drifting away isn't acting out of cruelty, they simply don't know how to speak their heart. They fear hurting you, that's why they're choosing silence, thinking distance will soften the blow. You'll eventually realize they're gone, and maybe it won't hurt as badly. But the Spirit in heaven knows, this will break you, because you are someone who loves deeply, and notices everything, even silence. That's why your spirit is aching right now, part of you already knows. The heavenly loved one has been granted permission to whisper this message into your life, not to frighten you, but to guide you. They ask you to observe more closely, the late-night texts, the missing calls, the stories that no longer include you. The person who once lit up at your sight, now avoids your presence, like a haunting memory. Heaven wants you to know, do not beg them to stay, but don't walk away angrily either. This is a test of your wisdom, not your worth. You've done all you could to preserve this bond, you waited, prayed, cried alone, and heaven witnessed every tear. Your emotions weren't wasted, but now the choice is not yours, and that is the urgency of this message. The one who's gone is afraid, you'll hold on too long, and lose yourself, trying to salvage someone who's already halfway gone. You don't deserve to diminish yourself, just to stay in someone's life. You deserve to be the chapter, everyone can't stop turning. But even if they leave, your future remains bright, and your heavenly loved one will walk with you, through any darkness. Expect signs, a feather on your pillow, a song at the right moment, a stranger saying exactly what you needed. These aren't coincidences, they are confirmations from heaven, that you are protected, guided, cherished. Now let me declare, let go without guilt or bitterness. Let go understanding, that what belongs to you, won't require persuasion to stay. That is the truth, your loved one in heaven, begs you to accept. They aren't calling you to be cold, they are calling you to be strong. They say, do not lose yourself, chasing someone who no longer sees your value. Your worth is not defined by their attention. You were created with a purpose, that far exceeds this one relationship. Though this hurts, this is not the end, you are not alone. Even now, Archangel Michael is at work, clearing your path, removing negative energies, cultivating new connections, aligned with your soul. But this will only come, if you allow it. You must release the fear of being left alone, and embrace divine companionship. Because what you release now, will make room for something sacred, something destined. The Heavenly One has seen your lonely nights of overthinking, felt your heart tremble, when waiting for an unanswered reply, and they grieve seeing your silence. That's why this urgent message reached you today, not tomorrow, because this week something shifts, and you need to be spiritually prepared. Soon you'll have a chance to say goodbye with dignity, or receive a sign so clear, it helps you let go, without needing any words. Though you feel weak, though you crave answers, know that this is not punishment, it is protection. What might seem like heartbreak now, is divine rescue. Disentangling isn't rejection, sometimes I remove people, not because they are wrong, but because their chapter is complete. The One in heaven urges, let the story close in peace, and I promise, I will restore what was lost, revive your heart, send love that stays, connections that endure, and peace that settles. But I must ask, you must trust me. Let go with faith, let go with dignity. And when darkness comes, and the nights feel colder, return to this message, hear my voice in these words. I'm not just the God who begins, but the God who comforts, through every ending. This is not your conclusion, it is your redirection. The One in heaven is cheering for you. They see what you cannot yet see, but soon clarity will come. Your pain is not only yours to bear, part of it is theirs too, for they loved you deeply, and still do. Their spirit is unsettled, because they know the weight of your unspoken grief. They've watched you smile through brokenness, they know you've masked your ache. That's why they whisper your name in the hush of night. That's why this message found you, exactly when you needed it. It wasn't accidental, it was orchestrated from above. You didn't stumble on this message, it found you, meant and prayed for, before your heart understood its purpose. Your emotions don't shame me, I understand. You are allowed to grieve, to question, to feel your fading. I saw your unspoken tears, every grief-drenched pillow, every silent cry, these were not unseen. You were never invisible to me. And now your loved one ensures, you aren't invisible to them either. Even after death, their love for you endures, now louder, urgent, because time doesn't pass in heaven like it does here. They see the separation, before it touches your heart, and they don't want you shattered. That's why this message is unfiltered, real love is sometimes a storm alert. The One in heaven is shouting through this video, please listen, don't ignore this, don't wait until the door closes, wishing you'd done something. And you can respond now, not to win them back, but to heal your own heart, to find peace, before the pain peaks. Tonight do this, sit quietly, disable all distractions. Say their name out loud. You'll feel it, a warmth, a pressure on your chest, a breeze with no open windows. That is them, that is reassurance, that love persists. That is promise of healing, resurrection of your spirit, the beginning of a new chapter, where you stand more like yourself than ever before. Hold that moment, let this be the turning point. Is proof of your resilience, proof that your heart, though battered, still believes in the possibility of beauty. That even in the wreckage, you're searching for meaning, instead of giving up. And that kind of soul child, that kind of endurance is rare and precious, in the eyes of heaven. You're not weak for wanting clarity, you're not foolish for having believed, in someone who couldn't meet you, where your heart stood waiting. You were brave, you gave something real. And just because they didn't hold it with care, doesn't mean it lost its value. Love is never wasted, when it's given with purity, it just sometimes lands in places, not ready to receive it. The one from heaven wants you to hear this, you are not broken beyond repair. You are breaking open, for something new to enter. A deeper understanding, a stronger self, a wiser heart. And though the tears still come, at unexpected hours, and your chest aches, in ways you can't describe, every part of this unraveling is sacred. This is the undoing of illusions, this is where masks fall off, and truth takes its place. They didn't leave because you were too much, they left because your soul required a depth they couldn't offer. And that's not your burden to carry. That's their journey to face. Let them go without bitterness, release them without resentment. Not for them, but for your peace. Because you deserve peace, more than you deserve answers. There's something holy in not needing revenge, in not needing to prove your worth, in simply standing in your truth, and letting silence speak on your behalf. Because the one from heaven is echoing this now, your worth was never up for debate. It was written into your being, the moment you took your first breath. And no one, not a lover, not a friend, not even the voices in your head, can strip that away. This pain is sacred, it's a threshold. And thresholds often look like endings, but in heaven's language, they're beginnings in disguise. That's what this is, a beginning, a slow return to yourself, a resurrection of dreams you put on pause, a healing so complete that one day you'll hardly recognize the version of you that begged to be seen by someone who could barely see themselves. The one from the other side, yes, the one who held your hand as a child, or whispered your name in prayers, long before you ever knew what to believe, they are still with you. And they are praying for your heart now, not to go back to what you lost, but to grow forward, into who you're becoming. They're saying your name in the light, they're speaking strength into your spine, and they are guiding you, toward every encounter, that will mirror your rebirth. You are not here to prove your worth by suffering, you are not here to convince anyone to stay. You are here to shine so brightly, that what's meant for you, can't help but be drawn in, not by your effort, but by your essence. You've carried enough, you've tried hard enough, now it's time to rest, in the knowing, that what is meant for your soul, will not require you to beg, chase, or shrink. You can let go now, gently. Not in rage, not in despair, but in reverence. Let go like a leaf falls from a tree, trusting that the wind will carry it exactly where it's meant to go. That's how I want you to release them, with grace, with faith, with the quiet confidence, that even in this loss, nothing sacred is ever truly lost. And I know, oh I know it still stings. You still check your phone, you still wonder, if maybe they'll realize what they had, and come back with different eyes. But child, listen, if someone truly sees you, you won't have to keep reminding them how to love you. They'll just know, they'll just stay. So stop chasing their memory, stop rewriting your story, just to make them the hero. They were a chapter, not the whole book. And even if that chapter was filled with beauty, and laughter, and dreams whispered under stars, it was still never meant to hold your entire becoming. You were always destined for more. This is the sacred in-between, the space where you feel like nothing makes sense, where you're not who you were, but not yet who you're becoming. But oh, what heaven can do in the in-between. That's where miracles are born, that's where healing begins its quiet work, that's where angels gather closest. So tonight, when the silence feels loud, and your bed feels too big, and your heart feels like it might split in two, just whisper this: I am held. Even now, especially now. And you are being held in ways you can't yet see. You are being guided by hands older than time, and you are being loved by a presence that doesn't leave, even when others do. You won't have to chase what's meant for you, you won't have to beg love to stay. What is yours will arrive gently, fully, and with reverence, for all the places you've been cracked open. But for that to happen, you must first honor the goodbye. Not as a failure, but as a threshold, into everything you've been praying for. The one from heaven is speaking this to your soul now. Let this be the moment you choose you. Let this be the moment you no longer water dead gardens, or hold your breath waiting for a return that may never come. Let this be the moment you say, I deserve love that doesn't confuse me, I deserve presence that stays. And you do. You deserve the kind of love that sees you in your chaos and doesn't flinch. That stays for the healing, not just the high. That doesn't silence your tears, but holds space for them. That knows your heart, and still chooses it every single day. So breathe, child, inhale the release, exhale the regret. You are not starting over, you are starting deeper, wiser, stronger. And though the path ahead may still hold shadows, you become a carrier of your own light. You don't need them to lead the way anymore, you are your own compass now. There's a version of you waiting on the other side of this grief. A version that smiles without apology, a version that dances again, a version that loves without losing herself. And you will meet her. One day you'll wake up and realize, you didn't just survive this, you transformed because of it. Until then, keep walking, keep breathing, keep choosing yourself, even when it hurts. Because the one from heaven and I, your Creator, are walking beside you every step of the way. Not judging your pain, not rushing your process, but holding your hand, as you slowly return to the sacred truth. You were never too much, you were just too rare. And now it's time for the rare to rise. Because you've poured enough into empty places, you've tried hard enough to be understood, where there was no space made for you. You've waited long enough for a love that should have shown up on its own. Now it's your time to stop explaining your heart, to those who never took the time to learn its language. Time to stop giving the most sacred parts of your soul to people who only ever showed up with half of theirs. You are not abandoning anyone. By choosing yourself now, you are honoring the divine within you, that has quietly endured long enough. And as you begin to reclaim your energy, your voice, your presence, something will begin to shift. The air around you will feel lighter, the weight on your chest will begin to lift. You'll start to notice colors again, the deep blues in the sky, the gold pouring through the window, the green of life still blooming, even after the storm. That beauty has always been there, you just couldn't see it, through the fog of holding on. But now the fog is clearing, and with every breath you take in freedom, with every step you walk in self-trust, you are stepping further into the life that has been waiting for you. The one from heaven sees it, they are smiling, watching as you begin to recognize your own radiance again. They always knew this day would come, this day where you no longer need someone else to validate your worth. This day where you begin to understand that your softness is a gift, not a liability. That your depth is your superpower, not your burden. That your ability to feel so deeply is not a flaw, it's evidence of your divine connection. So let them go, let them walk away if they must. You don't need to chase after someone who was never meant to walk the whole journey with you. Some people are only meant to teach you what your soul needed to learn and then leave. And I know that hurts, I know it feels unfair. But child, not everyone who enters your heart is meant to stay forever. Some were just passing through, so that you could become stronger, wiser, softer in the right ways, and sharper where you once dulled yourself for love. You can forgive without returning, you can release without forgetting, you can wish them peace, without keeping yourself in pieces. Forgiveness does not mean pretending it didn't hurt. Forgiveness means choosing not to let it harden you. And that's exactly what you're doing, with every tear, with every deep breath, with every decision to keep going, you are choosing healing over bitterness, growth over resentment, light over darkness. And heaven is responding to that choice. You may not see it yet, but things are moving. The shift has already begun. The one from heaven has been orchestrating encounters you didn't know you needed. They've been setting into motion blessings that will align with your healing heart. People who speak your soul's language, opportunities that will stretch you in the best ways, moments of peace so deep, they will feel like coming home. But first you must make space. Let go of the hope that they will return with better intentions. Let go of the version of them you loved in your head, but never truly met in reality. Let go of the idea that you could have changed the outcome, if only you were more, did more, loved better. No, you were always enough. This was never about your worth, this was about timing, alignment, and the lessons your soul came here to learn. And now the lesson is unfolding into wisdom. That wisdom is what will protect you next time. That wisdom is what will guide you towards something lasting, something true, something sacred. But you can't bring old wounds into new chapters, you can't drag regret into the next season. That's why heaven is inviting you now, to lay it all down. The guilt, the shame, the overthinking, the self-doubt, lay it all down. Your hands need to be free, to receive what's coming. And what's coming, child, is beyond what you've imagined. You asked for love, and love is coming. You asked for peace, and peace is being formed, in places you can't yet see. You asked for healing, and healing is happening inside you, slowly and steadily. It may not be loud, it may not be dramatic, but it's real, and it's lasting. You don't need to prove your growth to anyone, you don't need to convince anyone that you've changed. You don't owe anyone access to the new version of you that is blooming in this sacred becoming. Those who are meant for you will recognize your light, without you having to dim it or explain it. They will meet you where you are, and they will come with open hands, not hidden agendas. That's how you'll know. Until then, take your time, grieve if you must, cry when it rises, but keep walking, keep showing up, keep choosing love, especially when it's hard, especially for yourself. Because you are still the one worth choosing. And every time you decide not to settle for less than that, you are affirming your divinity. The one from heaven has not missed a single moment. Not the late-night tears, not the quiet victories, not the courage it takes to keep hoping after heartbreak. They've seen it all. And they are standing beside me, watching as you slowly rise, praying that you will believe this truth at last: you are not alone, you never were. Even in your silence I was there, even in your anger I stayed, even when you pushed everyone away, I held space for your return. And now that you're coming home to yourself, I am ready to unfold what's been waiting. A love rooted in safety, a life rooted in truth, a path paved in purpose. But it starts with one final release. Not just of them, but of the story you've been telling yourself. The one that says you're too much, too broken, too hard to love. That story is not yours anymore. The truth is, you are exactly as I intended, beautiful in your complexity, brave in your vulnerability, worthy beyond measure. And if it still feels too hard to believe, that's okay. I will keep reminding you. Through the songs, the signs, the stillness. Through the people I send, and the moments of quiet grace, I will keep whispering, until the lie breaks apart, and truth settles in. You are enough, you always were. Now go, not to chase, not to search, but to simply live, to rest, to create, to breathe deeply, without waiting for someone else to give you permission. This is your life, this is your time, this is your healing. And I'm right here, always have been, always will be. It sounds like grace, it sounds like love, you can finally recognize, without doubting it. So when the night feels heavy, and the silence grows louder than usual, remind yourself, this is part of the process. Growth doesn't always announce itself with fireworks, sometimes it comes softly, like a whisper, reminding you that you are healing, even when it still hurts. And that whisper, it's me, it's the one from heaven too, together, we are both gently guiding you forward. You may not see the full picture yet, but you are walking through a divine unfolding. And every step, even the painful ones, are aligning you with your purpose. I know it doesn't always feel that way, I know the waiting has been long, and the ache has been deep. But trust me, when I say, nothing is being wasted. Not a tear, not a moment of confusion, not a single time you chose to believe, when you had every reason not to. You're being made new through all of it, not by forgetting the pain, but by transforming through it. You are no longer just surviving, you're slowly learning to live again. To breathe without holding it all in, to smile without wondering if joy will slip away, to love without fearing loss. That's the beauty of becoming, It doesn't ask you to erase your past, only to stop letting it define your future. And if you're still afraid to let go, let me hold the fear for you. Let me carry what you no longer have the strength to. Your only job right now is to be honest, with yourself, with me, with the parts of you that are still scared. Because it's okay to be afraid, healing isn't about pretending the pain never existed, it's about learning to walk forward, even when your knees still tremble. You've carried enough shame, enough doubt, enough self-blame. It's time to lay it all down. It's time to stop asking yourself why it wasn't enough, and start believing that you were always more than enough. Their leaving was never proof of your unworthiness, it was simply a redirection, a divine reroute. And while that may not make the sting disappear, it can give you hope that the road ahead leads somewhere sacred. The one from heaven sees you, choosing life even in grief. They see your courage, every morning you rise, despite the weight. And they are with me, asking for blessings to cover your path. They don't want you to remain in mourning forever, they want to see you live again, laugh again, love again, not in the way that broke you, but in a way that builds you. You were not created to dwell in sorrow, you were made to rise, to reflect light, to be a vessel of love. And this next chapter, it won't require you to beg, it won't feel like chasing, it will feel like home. And yes, it's coming, yes, it's possible, but only if you keep choosing to believe that what's ahead is still worth walking toward. So pause when you need to, rest when you're tired, but don't stop, don't settle in the valley, when a mountaintop is being prepared for you. Keep showing up for yourself, keep trusting in me. Because I've seen the way you've loved others, I've seen the loyalty, the kindness, the way you held space, for those who couldn't do the same for you. And I promise you, that kind of love never goes unnoticed. I've stored every seed of compassion you've sown. And in due time, you will reap a harvest of peace, joy, and love, that exceeds your expectations. Not because you earned it, but because you kept your heart open, when it would have been easier to close it. You didn't let the bitterness win, you didn't let the heartbreak harden you. And for that, my child, heaven rejoices over you. You are not behind, you are not too late, you are exactly where you need to be, to receive what's next. And I know your heart still aches for what was lost, I know you still miss them, in moments when the world quiets. But every time you feel that longing, let it remind you, that your heart still works, that it hasn't given up. That's not weakness, that's strength beyond measure. And that's what I'm building on now. That tender place, that soft core, it is where my love pours in most deeply. So don't numb it, don't silence it, let it breathe, let it feel, let it heal. Because in that healing, you will find me, in ways you never have before. There is a version of you rising, that no longer lives for approval, no longer needs validation to feel whole, no longer compromises, just to be kept. This version of you knows your worth, not because someone finally recognized it, but because you chose to see it for yourself. And from that place, you will draw in a love that mirrors your growth. And when it comes, you'll know. You won't have to question it, you won't have to chase it. You'll feel safe, cherished, and seen, in ways you once only dreamed of. Because I've been preparing this for you all along. And the one from heaven, they'll be watching too, nodding with joy, whispering, yes, this is the promise being fulfilled. So hold on a little longer, don't rush the healing, let it teach you, shape you, prepare you. There is nothing wrong with taking your time, there is no shame in needing space, to grieve and grow. And every quiet moment, every deep breath, every choice to keep going, that's you participating in your own miracle. You've come so far already, don't turn back now. The hardest parts are behind you, even if your heart hasn't caught up yet. Trust that peace is not just possible, it's promised. And it's already on its way. Let the light in, even if it feels unfamiliar. Let joy creep in slowly, even if it feels strange at first. You deserve all of it. You deserve the kind of love that stays. The kind that doesn't require performance or perfection. The kind that sees your scars, and doesn't flinch. That's the love I'm sending, that's the love that will find you. And when it does, it will feel like me, because it will come from me. So tonight rest knowing that nothing is missing from your life. Nothing good will be withheld. What is meant for you will find you, not because you're striving, but because you're aligned. And you're aligning with truth, with healing, with me. And that is the most beautiful path you could be on. You are not behind schedule, you are not too broken, you are not hard to love. You are unfolding, becoming, awakening, and I am walking with you, through every step. The one from heaven is still near, still present, still smiling, through your progress. And they know, just as I do, that your best days are still ahead. You are not the grief you carry, you are not the rejection you faced, you are not the silence you were given. You are a miracle still becoming, a heart still expanding, a soul still rising. And this isn't the end, not even close. This is the divine in motion, this is beauty being born from ashes. So keep walking, child, not because you've healed completely, but because you've decided to keep becoming. That decision alone moves heaven. That trust pulls miracles toward you. And every time you show up again, with tears, with hope, with faith, you are rewriting your story, in ways more powerful than you realize. I'm not done yet, and neither are you. Keep breathing, keep trusting, keep healing. I am with you, I always have been, and I always will be. Amen.